Hi there, welcome to another episode of Wandering Create with Emma. Now you might notice that I'm wearing my Christmas pyjamas. It does feel a little too soon to be doing that. However, that festive season is creeping up on us, and I think now is a perfect time to start thinking about handmade Christmas things. This video is part of a mini-series where I've been looking at how we can use our yarn stash to make things in preparation for the festive season. The last video that I posted a couple of weeks ago was all about handmade gifts so you can knit and crochet using your stash, so go check that out. And in this week's episode, I wanted to look at handmade Christmas decorations for our homes. So grab your cup of tea, take a seat, and I'll walk you through some project ideas and patterns that I think would make great handmade decorations. I think there's something so cozy and personal about being able to decorate your home with pieces that you've made yourself. And it feels even better when you've been able to use those scraps of yarn that you've been keeping a hold of all year. Whether you're looking for classic ornaments, stockings, or garlands, there's so many creative ways to bring that handmade touch to your Christmas decor. I'm going to cover 8 different project ideas and 18 knitting and crochet patterns that fit into these ideas. These are patterns that I found either through Ravelry or Pinterest, and I've created a Pinterest board and a Ravelry bundle page to cover this topic. So if you're interested and want to see all these patterns I'm including in this video, plus more that I've added in the meantime, make sure to visit those, and I'll include links in the description below. The patterns that I'm including are a mix of free patterns and as well as paid for patterns. Within each of those 8 project ideas, I'm going to include 2 or 3 patterns that I've seen related to those ideas that I think would be kind of great stash busting projects. But there's obviously so many more out there. I encourage you to do your own research and also visit my Pinterest or Ravelry pages if you want to see even more as well. And as with my previous video, I have not necessarily tried and tested all these patterns or thoroughly researched them. They simply caught my eye while I've been researching for this topic. Okay, so now let's get into some of those ideas. Okay, so project idea number 1 is very simple. It's stars. Knitted and crochet stars are obviously a very versatile Christmas decor. They can be strung together to make a garland, hung from a tree, or seamed together to make a table runner. Even more than that, they can be made in multiple different colours, making it a great stash busting opportunity. So a couple of patterns I've seen. One, the woven knitted stars by Frankie Brown. The pattern description says that these stars are knit with DK weight yarn and use no more than 5 grams per star, which is nothing. So if you have those really small balls of DK yarn left over from other projects, this is the pattern for you. I was really drawn to this because they look a little bit different to the usual kind of star that you might imagine. And because it's woven and joined together, as you can see, you can have different colours within each star. And so I really enjoyed the kind of fun opportunity you have there to mix and match colours and make these stars. And then another pattern was the Christmas star ornament by Truly Crochet. This is a free pattern on their website, or you can pay for a PDF, like ad-free version, for about $2.50 US. These are kind of the more simple stars, almost like a granny square. You're starting off with that kind of granny square looking center before adding the points. I reckon these would be really quick to make. And again, all the potential color combinations that you could do, or you could make them all in the same color. As you can see with this kind of idea, the color opportunities and what you could do with these stars are endless. Next up on the ideas list is stockings. Stockings are a classic Christmas decoration that can bring warmth and tradition to any home. Whether they're hung by the fireplace or used as festive gift holders, they're really customizable in their size, colour and design, making them really unique and a great addition to the home. In this apartment we're currently living in, as you can see, we have a fireplace, well, a gas fireplace. But because we have this, and I haven't had it before, I'm really feeling that urge to have some stockings to hang there, to have that real traditional Christmassy feel about the place. One pattern I saw in my research for this that I think really fits the bill of what I'm looking for pattern ideas to include in this blog is the Scrap Bin Stockings by Vicky Howe. So this is a knitted pattern, it's free on her website. And this pattern really encourages you to use any weight, any textures to combine together to knit these stockings. And I really like that idea because it kind of brings memories of projects gone before. You can look at your stocking and be like, oh yeah, that yarn was also used in that cardigan I made, etc. So I really like that idea, and it kind of really fits the criteria that I had when I was looking for pattern ideas. So check that one out. And then the crochet pattern I've seen is the Brighton Stockings by Silver Maple Stitches. So this stocking is made with a bulky weight yarn, but obviously you could hold multiple strands of a lighter weight yarn together to meet that weight. And this pattern also really encourages you to think of what you could bring to this design. So you could do it all in one block color. You could make it stripy to use different colors. The choices are yours. Number 3 on my list of ideas are baubles. So why not add a cozy handmade flair to your Christmas tree this year with some knit or crochet bauble decorations? There's endless options for colours, patterns and textures with these bauble ideas. You can create something really personal for your tree with your colour theme in mind if you have a colour theme. One thing I would say with the baubles is that they do require an extra piece of material for this. I've noticed a lot of the patterns are either going to require stuffing, wadding like toy stuffing, or styrofoam balls that you then crochet or knit around. So they are using your stash, but you may have to buy extra. You might have to buy that in addition to that. So just a heads up there, it's not completely stash busting unless you have stuffing to use up, in which so this is the perfect project for you. I'd seen lots of crochet bauble patterns, but I did manage to find a few knitted ones as well. And Drops Design have these Jolly Holidays knitted baubles. Drops Design actually did have a lot of other Christmas decorations, but I liked these kind of Fair Isle, Nordic style baubles, again, because I'm thinking of the colourwork options. These would be very tiny, I imagine, knit in the round before stuffing. But I guess the bonus is you never have to see what the insides look like because they're going to be stuffed and sewn up at the ends. This pattern is available for free on their website, and it also comes with lots of video tutorials like how to do Fair Isle knitting. So if you are new and looking to do a colourwork project, maybe this would be a good one for you because it's small. But then again, because of the smallness, it might mean that it's a hard project. I don't really know. And then to highlight one of the many crochet bauble patterns I've seen are these Christmas baubles by Sophie and Yarn Designs. This is a free pattern, but I think it's so pretty. I love the mosaic look of it, particularly with the colour combinations that this designer has chosen. But I think it looks like a real intricate pattern. And again, this one is calling for using styrofoam balls to crochet around, or use stuffing if you don't have those styrofoam balls or don't want to use them. They do require a tiny hook size. In the pattern description, it says 2mm hook and a 2.5mm hook. So it would be tiny, maybe harder on your hands, and they're made with a sport weight yarn. But again, like with all of these patterns, really, because they're not fitted garments that you're going to wear, you could use any weight of yarn. It's just going to be worth noting that will then change the final size of your project compared to what may be written in the pattern. So if you're having your family or your friends over for Christmas, why not make a festive table runner? A handmade table runner can really set the tone for those festive celebrations with options for like intricate lacework or real rustic design. A table runner can really make the room feel cozy and festive. And remember those styles that we talked about before? Well, how about joining them all together to make a table runner? This crochet style posy table runner by Lulu Loves UK really fits that bill. It's very similar to the other style patterns that I talked about earlier in the video. And it's a crochet pattern. It's available for $3.50 Canadian on Etsy, but it really highlights that idea that you could string all these together and have a really beautiful, fun table runner. And then another pattern that I really wanted to highlight because the designer has made it in both a knit and a crochet pattern, which is amazing, is the Fa La 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 table runner by Brianna K Designs. I really like this one. It's quite minimalist in its appearance. You know, you just use one color and then you have the Fa La 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 writing across the middle of it. I was really drawn to it, and even more so when I discovered that they'd made it in both crochet and knitting. Amazing. And that one is available for free via Ravelry and on their website. Okay, number 5, but at 5 already, I have wall hangings as my idea here. I actually did talk about wall hangings as a handmade gift idea in my last video, but I think also it's nice for something to make for yourself. And if you make a festive one, it's something that you can bring out annually. You won't get bored of looking at it because you're only going to see it for a short period of time once a year. They're also kind of a great way to use up your stash, of course, because you could have several different colours running through it. You can make them to any size. As I mentioned just a minute ago, it doesn't really matter the yarn weight you're using, it will just impact the final size of the piece. The Crochet Christmas Tree Wall Hanging by Freshnack is actually a pattern I have made before. I followed it a couple of years ago. It's free on their website to make as gifts for other people. As you can see in the image here, the designer has used just one colour throughout the whole wall hanging, but when I made mine, I used two colours. So I had one background and then a different colour for the tree. I went with green, very obvious. But yeah, I used them. I had some green wool left over from when I'd made the nurtured sweater for Andrea Mowry early in the year. I saw it in my stash. It wasn't really enough to make anything else. I'd seen this pattern come up on my Pinterest and I thought, oh, that would be a nice gift to make for a couple of people. So I did that, and it's a very simple pattern to follow. You're using only a couple of different stitch patterns. You're using the bubble stitch to make the tree stand out, which is really fun. So if you're a beginner crocheter, this is kind of quite a fun project to do and get used to making bubbles. And I really recommend following it. It made for a great gift that I think people really appreciated. The other wall hanging I wanted to highlight is the retro Snowflakes wall hanging by Love and Stitches Design. This pattern is $7 Canadian, but I really liked the kind of 4 panels aspect of this. Obviously, the designer here has used kind of 4 different tones of a teal colour, I think, or at least a blue shades. But again, you could use 4 completely different colours here, and they could all be very festive in their colour combinations. I really like the appeal of that one. It does have it kind of made me think of the Brady Bunch, if anyone ever watched that when they were younger. And now I want to talk about snowflakes. Just like the real snowflakes, there are multiple knitted and crochet patterns for snowflakes out there, many free ones as well. So I reckon for this one, you could follow a bunch of different patterns and make various different snowflakes. Just like in real life, there's no one snowflake that's the same. And going back to that table runner idea, you could also make a bunch of these snowflakes and seam them together to make a table runner. That would be just as pretty as the stars, I think. Many of these patterns have been designed in the like traditional white colour or maybe a blue, but of course you could go your own way and make purple ones if you wanted to. Why not? The Flower Star Snowflake by Renata Sage is a free design that I think is really pretty, and I believe the designer has created this as one of 4 different snowflake patterns, with the intention being that they could all be made and then turned into a snowflake mobile. So that's another option for these like ones where you can have stars, snowflakes, there's multiple options. A hanging mobile is another way to display them. In a similar fashion, the Holiday Frost Snowflakes by Blue Sky Fibres is a bundle of 3 knitted snowflake patterns. This pattern bundle is available for free, and the stars are made with worsted weight yarn. The penultimate idea I have, and maybe one of my favourites, and the kind of first decoration I want to get going with, are paper chains. I think the paper chain idea really appeals to me because it looks fairly straightforward to make. You don't have to think about it too much. In general, from looking at the patterns I found online, you're kind of making a series of strips, either crochet or knitting, that you seam together and loop together to have that paper chain garland effect. I think they'd look really lovely around the fireplace. I'm even thinking about making some and taking it to work to decorate my little desk area. We'll see how I get on. I do have lots of scrap yarn to use, so I'm feeling like these paper chains would be a good way to do that. I've seen lots of knitting and crochet patterns. To highlight a couple again here, I have another pattern from Vicky Howe, who I mentioned earlier with the scrap bin stockings. She's created a paper chain garland designed for knitting. It looks to be very simple. You're creating strips and it's just a garter stitch back and forth to make the strip. You then seam it together, and with each strip you kind of loop through the previous one, seam it together to create that paper chain garland. It looks like her pattern wasn't specifically designed with Christmas in line if I'm basing it off the colours. So you could also, take this out of the Christmas theme and make it for a nursery or to decorate around your home throughout the year. And then for the crocheters among us, how about some granny square paper chains? The Granny Yarn Chain by Handmade at My Place is a free pattern and it's a series of granny rectangles that you can then join together. This appealed to me because who doesn't love a granny stitch? I want to say granny square, but in this case it's granny rectangle. And this one, even within the strips themselves, you can combine different colours, as you see the designer has done here. So my brain is instantly like, oh yes, small bits of yarn will be easily used up making these strips. The pattern includes options to join the strips as you go, or how to kind of sew them all together at the end and make that garland. Okay, last up, this is a slight cheat option, but I wanted to make it all-encompassing of other Christmas decor ornaments because I just saw so many and I couldn't narrow it down to one option. From knitted and granny square trees to flat snow globes, there's so many options out there. I could probably spend the next year making all these decorations. So again, I really recommend checking out my Pinterest board or my Ravelry bundle page, and make sure to give them a follow because I'm sure I'll just keep adding to them as and when I see patterns that I think fit the bill. And just to highlight some of those patterns within those honourable mentions, first up I have the Granny Stitch wreath. So this pattern is in Danish on their website, but I feel like Google Translate will be able to help those of us who don't speak Danish. I really love this. It's a fun, colourful piece that you could hang from your door. I like that this sample hasn't really gone for the festive colour theme, but of course you could make it festive if you wanted. And I was thinking you could even add little like berries and leaves and stuff to it to give it kind of real interesting, unique feel. I also really liked these little knitted elves by the Horjath sisters. I think they're really cute and cheeky looking and would be fun to hang from your tree. As well as these flat amigurumi snow globes by Amy Gaines. They're really pretty, quite intricate, might take a while, but kind of real fun looking and unique Christmas decoration. And lastly, why not a skirt for your Christmas tree? There's again a lot of free knit and crochet patterns out there. I saw this one by Violet LeBeau. It's a free pattern. This particular design is giving a bit of a Hudson Bay blanket feel to it. If you're Canadian, you'll know exactly what I mean. But like I say, there is lots of free patterns out there in all different colours and shapes from round to star. There's kind of endless opportunities there. So that sums it up. What did you think? Have I inspired you? I know my brain is like really wanting to just get stuck into my stash and get going with some of these ideas. First up, like I said, the paper garlands, I'm kind of itching to get going with that. But I also really like the baubles. I haven't got a tree just yet, but I am hoping to get one. So I reckon I'll be making a lot of baubles and maybe those little cheeky elves as well. Let me know what you thought, and also if you've made some handmade decorations already or have any other ideas or patterns to share, leave them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Make sure to subscribe because as I say, this is part of a little mini series I'm doing in the lead up to Christmas. I have 1 or 2 more videos in mind, and previously posted one all about handmade crochet and knit gifts for Christmas that will use your yarn stash, so go have a look at that. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time for another episode of Wander and Create with Emma.